Hello, everybody. Another in bed reading series. Today we're going to read from the poems of Nazim Hikmet. Got 4 poems for you. This is called Some Advice to Those Who Will Serve in Prison. If instead of being hanged by the neck, you're thrown inside for not giving up hope in the world, your country, and people, if you do 10 or 15 years apart from the time you have left, you won't say, better I had swung from the end of a rope like a flag. You'll put your foot down and live. It may not be a pleasure exactly, but it's your solemn duty to live one more day despite the enemy. Part of you may live alone inside like a stone at the bottom of a well, but the other part must be caught up in the flurry of the world that you shiver there inside when outside at 40 days distant a leaf moves. To wait for letters inside, to sing sad songs, or to lie awake all night staring at the ceiling is sweet but dangerous. Look at your face from shave to shave. Forget your age. Watch out for lice and for spring nights, and always remember to eat every last piece of bread. Also, don't forget to laugh heartily. And who knows? The woman you love may stop loving you. Don't say it's no big thing. It's like the snapping of a green branch to a man inside. To think of roses and gardens inside is bad. To think of seas and mountains is good. Read and write without rest, and also advise weaving and making mirrors. I mean, it's not that you can't pass 10 or 15 years inside or more. You can, as long as the jewel on the left side of your chest does not lose its luster. Hikmet was a political prisoner. He was a Turkish poet. So he served 13 years in prison in Turkey, and then he was exiled to Russia. Believe he spent out the rest of his life in Moscow. This poem is called In the Snowy Night Woods. The beaches deep in snow, I walk the dark woods in sorrow. Sorrow, your hand, where is your hand? The snow the color of moonlight, my boots heavy in the night, the song that's sung in me is calling me. But where? Is my country the furthest away, or my youth, or the stars? A window in the beech forest glows yellow warm. What if, as I pass by, someone calls me to come in, and I come in and bow deeply, greeting those inside the house? The old calendar says spring came in today. The toys I sent to Mehmet were all returned to me. His pickup sits brooding, hurt. Its spring never got wound up, and Mehmet never got to sail his white boat in the tub. The snow is fluffy, clean. Softly I walk on. Last night at 1:30, Beirut died. I knew him. I have a tawny rug of his and a book signed. The book will pass from hand to hand. The rug will last another 100 years. I left my budding rose in the city of 7 hills. There is no shame in dreading death or thoughts of dying. The strangest of our powers is the courage to live, knowing that we will die, knowing nothing more true. Is my country the furthest away, or my youth, or the stars? Tell me, is there a village on the other side of death? At night, the beaches deep in snow, I walk the forest all around me. I see clear as day in the darkness. If I turned off right now, the path, train tracks, the valley, from 15 miles away, Moscow would glow brightly. This is called The Last Bus. Again, we're reading from the poems of Nazim Hikmet. Midnight. The last bus. The conductor cuts me a ticket. Neither bad news nor a big dinner awaits me at home. For me, absence waits. I approach it without sadness or fear. The great dark closes in. Now I can look at the world quietly and at peace, and am no longer surprised by a friend's treachery, a knife concealed in a handshake. It's useless. The enemy can't provoke me now. I passed through the forest of idols with my axe. How easily they all came down. I put my beliefs to the test once more. I'm thankful most of them turned out pure. I've never been radiant this way, never free like this. The great dark closes in. Now I can look at the world quietly and at peace. Suddenly the past comes back. When I'm not looking, a word, a smell, a hand gesture. The world is friendly, the smell beautiful, the hand is in a hand, my love. The call of memory no longer makes me sad. I have no complaints about memory. In fact, I can't complain about anything, not even about my heart aching nonstop like a big tooth. The great dark closes in. Now neither the seer's pride nor the scribe's claptrap. I pour bowlfuls of light over my head. I can look at the sun and not be blinded, and maybe, what a pity, the most beautiful lie will no longer seduce me. Words can't make me drunk anymore, neither mine nor anyone else's. That's how it goes, my rose. Death now is awfully close. The world is more beautiful than ever. The world was my suit of clothes. I've started undressing. I was at the window of a train, now I'm at the station. I was inside the house, now I'm at the door. It's open. I love the guests twice as much, and the heat is blonder than ever. The snow brighter than ever. This last poem is called Things I Didn't Know I Loved. It's 1962, March 28th, and I'm sitting by the window on the Prague-Berlin train. Night is falling. I never knew I liked night descending like a tired bird on a smoky, wet plain. I don't like comparing nightfall to a tired bird. I don't know I love the earth. Can someone who hasn't worked the earth love it? I've never worked the earth. It must be only a platonic love. And here I've loved rivers all this time, whether motionless like this, they curl skirting the hills, European hills crowned in chateaus, or whether stretched out flat as far as the eye can see. I know you can't wash in the same river even once. I know the river will bring new lights you'll never see. I know we live slightly longer than a horse, but not nearly as long as a crow. I know this has troubled people before and will trouble those after me. I know all this has been said 1,000 times before and will be said after me. I didn't know I loved the sky, cloudy or clear, the blue vault Andre studied in the back of his Borodino in prison. I translated both volumes of War and Peace into Turkish. I hear voices, not from the blue vault, but from the yard. The guards are beating someone again. I didn't know I loved trees, bare beaches near Moscow, in Peredinko. They came upon me in winter, noble and modest. Beeches are Russian the way poplars are Turkish. The poplars of Izmir, losing their leaves. They call me the knife, lover like a young tree. I blow stately mansions sky high. In the Ilgats woods, 1920, I tied an embroidered linen handkerchief to a pine bough for luck. I never knew I loved roads, even the asphalt kind. Vera's behind the wheel, we're driving to Moscow from Crimea. The two of us inside a closed box. The world flows past on both sides, distant and mute. I was never so close to anyone in my life. Bandits stopped me on the red road between Bolu and Gerede. When I was 18, apart from my life, I didn't have anything in the wagon they could take. And at 18, our lives are what we value the least. I've written this somewhere before. Wading through a dark, muddy street, I'm going to a shadow play. Ramazan night. A paper lantern leading the way. Maybe nothing like this ever happened. Maybe I read it somewhere. An 8-year-old boy going to a shadow play. Ramazan night in Istanbul, holding his grandfather's hand. His grandfather has a fez and is wearing a fur coat with a sable collar over his robe. And there's a lantern in the servant's hand, and I can't contain myself for joy. Flowers come to my mind for some reason. Poppies and jonquils. In the jonquil garden in Istanbul, I kissed Marika. Fresh almonds on her breath. I was 17. My heart on a swing touched the sky. I didn't know I loved flowers. Friends sent me 3 red carnations in prison. I remember the stars. I loved them too, whether I'm floored watching them from below or whether I'm flying at their side. I have some questions for the cosmonauts. Were the stars much bigger? Did they look like huge jewels on black velvet or apricot on orange? Did you feel proud to get closer to the stars? I saw I saw color photos of the cosmos in a magazine. Now don't be upset, comrades, but non-figurative, shall we say, or abstract. Well, some of them looked just like such paintings, which is to say they were terribly figurative and concrete. My heart was in the mouth looking at them. They were our endless desire to grasp things, seeing them. I could even think of death and not feel sad. I never knew I loved the cosmos. Snow flashes in front of my eyes, both heavy, wet, steady snow and dry, whirling snow. I didn't know I liked snow. I never knew I loved the sun, even when setting cherry red as snow. In Istanbul, too, sometimes sets in postcard colors, but you aren't about to paint it that way. I didn't know I loved the sea except the Sea of Azov or how much. I didn't know I loved clouds, whether I'm under or up above them, whether they look like giants or shaggy white beasts. Moonlight is the falsest and most languid of the petty bourgeois. It strikes me. I like it. I didn't know I liked rain, whether it falls like fine net or splatters against the glass. My heart leaves me tangled up in a net or trapped inside a drop, and it takes off for uncharted countries. I didn't know I loved rain, but why did I suddenly discover all these passions sitting by the window of a Prague Berlin train? Is it because I lit my 6th cigarette? One alone could kill me. Is it because I'm half dead from thinking about something back in Moscow, her straw hair, blonde eyelashes blue? The train plunges on through pitch black night. I never knew I liked the night pitch black. Sparks fly from the engine. I didn't know I liked sparks. I didn't know I loved so many things, and I had to wait until 60 to find out, sitting by the window of a Prague Berlin train, watching the world disappear as if on a journey of no return. The poems of Nazim Hikmet. Thanks for listening. Hope you're all holding up.